it's great to be around the guys, get to know everybody, be around the coaches, and just to, experience Carolina basketball. It's really been awesome.
Did you know anyone here before you got here on the team?
Not really. I was obviously really tuned into college basketball last year and during the tournament and stuff like that. So I think, getting familiar with these guys, through the screen, but, no prior relationships really.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, can you just sort of walk us through, what went into your decision and how you arrived at actually getting here?
Yeah, I was ultimately looking for a place. I obviously went through the NBA draft process and was really focused on that and thought I had a good chance. But was looking for a place where I could take my game to the next level and really showcase my full skill set, and then at the same time be able to do something special and compete for a national championship on a really good team surrounded by really good players with really good coaches and obviously for one of the best programs in the country. So I'm really in a great position, and I'm just super happy to be here.
Has there been a wow factor? And if so, what is that wow factor?
I think it definitely has been. I think it's just been great to just be around the guys and the level of talent and character combination. I think there's not a lot of places where you can get a great combination of both, and I think it's just been it's been an amazing experience for sure.
Did you talk with Brady Manick about his experience here and sort of transitioning into a place like this, which is different from obviously where you were?
Yeah, I got to speak with him a little bit at the NBA G League Elite Camp, and it was really cool because I hadn't even spoken to North Carolina yet or anything like that, and I asked him just how was your experience, and he said it was the best basketball experience of his life, which only being here 1 year I thought was something just really cool at the time. Obviously I was really focused on the draft and everything, but for him to say that after just being here for 1 year, I thought was says a lot about North Carolina and the kind of people that they have here for sure.
How much did the way they used Brady as a guy who could step outside and get shots and help with floor spacing, how much did that appeal to you?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. That's definitely a part of my game, being able to shoot the three, and I think having a guy similar to me in that way before me, I think you can kind of see that mold, and a lot of the times it's a mystery as to what you're stepping into. But as far as seeing what Brady did and kind of the hole that he left, I think it's kind of an easy thing to see that someone needs to step into that.
Is there any pressure with that? Like people look at it and say, well, Brady's gonna just plug in the next 3-point capable big guy and they'll be fine. Like it's a little bit more to it than that. Like how are you sort of balancing that part?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously there's going to be pressure, but we all kind of deal with pressure our whole life. It comes down to the preparation that you put in. I think I'm going to work as hard as I can, over the next whatever it is, 4 months, all the way up until the season starts. And I have to live with those results, but I feel pretty good about it. I'm just excited to get going.
How much did you learn the game from your dad, like growing up, like watching or learning what he did, watching tape of him, whatever?
Yeah, I think a lot. My dad, my brother, and my sister, all three of them played basketball, and those are kind of all three of the people that I majorly look up to in my life. For as long as I can remember, they've been playing basketball, so I think just learning from their experiences and all the things that they may have done wrong or done right, I feel like I'm definitely at an advantage being able to have such great role models ahead of me for sure.
What input did they have on your college decision? And do you have any family ties in the greater area? Obviously, your dad's history in South Carolina, but what ties did you have to this area before coming here?
Yeah, I think they definitely definitely helped guide me through the decision. It was really important for them to be out there, helping me and guiding me through my decision because they've gotten me up to this point. A lot of credit to them. So I think having their approval in coming here, I think was really cool for me. I think that was one of the main things that attracted me here, and I have some family in the area. Like some of my cousins live in Raleigh, so my dad's from Anderson, South Carolina, and so that's obviously really cool to have some friends and family close for sure.
What was your dad's view of North Carolina, considering growing up in South Carolina?
Man, it was definitely hard for him. It was definitely hard for him. He definitely, when we driving through campus and stuff, he said he remembered when he would come through here and North Carolina would beat up on Clemson. But he's really happy for me, and he was really going to be happy with whatever decision I made.
It's going to be kind of neat seeing him don a Carolina hat or a Carolina shirt when you play in one of your games.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'll be awesome. I know to have his support and everything like that. It'll be amazing.
Can you give us a self-scouting report?
Yeah, I think just I'm kind of somebody that can do a little bit of everything. I feel like shoot, pass, dribble. I kind of try to pride myself on being versatile and obviously try not to have any flaws. Try to be a versatile defender, shoot the three, post up, push it on the break. Just kind of do a little bit of everything.
What made you think that your game would fit from what you saw about North Carolina last year, considering your game that you just described?
Yeah, I think just playing the right way. I think this is obviously a really good team that I'm coming into with some really talented players. So I think being a versatile player, whatever kind of the coaches need me to do and whatever role they want me to fill, I think I'd be able to adapt to that easily just because my style of play and how I move the ball and share the ball and passing ability and floor spacing. I think it's just a really good fit.
How did you go ahead?
You mentioned how you were focused, obviously, at first on going the NBA route. What sort of other feedback that you received from there, and how is that sort of shaping your off-season workouts and the things that you're trying to get better at?
Yeah, I think it was great feedback. It was obviously just awesome to be able to go through the process in the first place, and I think the last 3-4 months or so has been big for me because it was kind of the first time I wasn't really on a team. I kind of just was able to focus on myself and try to get better in all aspects. But I think the biggest thing is just kind of being able to play on a bigger stage and a little bit more exposure. So I'm just excited to be able to be on a team like this and just play at the highest level.
How did you make the gains on your three-point shot? Your first 2 years, the percentages weren't great. The last 2 years, they were pretty good, obviously, and especially for a big guy that can stretch a defense. How did you sort of bring it to where it's a more reliable option?
Yeah, I think the main thing was, like I mentioned earlier, just I worked really hard at it. I think obviously my goals my whole life is to be in the NBA just like all of us. Anybody growing up has been watching the NBA for a long time, and I think as we've seen over the last couple of years, the three-point shot is super important. And in college, it's obviously very valuable to be able to space the floor, and that was just something that I knew that I was going to have to get better at. So I put a lot of time into the gym working on it, and it luckily it paid off for me.
Pete, when Hubert first reached out to you, what was his what was his elevator pitch?
I think just obviously there's a long history of NBA players. That was something that was really important to me, but he knew everybody should know watching me play. I'm not like a selfish guy who's going to come out here and try to make it to the NBA but just by shooting it every single time. I think obviously being able to compete for a national championship is something that he didn't really have to pitch me on very much, because it's pretty obvious that this team is pretty special. So I think just a combination of the two, being able to have a good chance, to play in the NBA just like the rest of us are trying to do, and combine that with competing at the highest level, I think is a match made in heaven.
And when you got here on your official visit, it's when all the alumni are back and playing those scrimmages. What was it like just seeing that as your first exposure to Chapel Hill?
Yeah, it was really special. It's not really something you see a lot of places. I think having guys like Justin Jackson and Marcus Page and Cam Johnson and seeing Tyler Hansborough, all these guys in the gym is it's really a special thing, having everybody still around the program. I think it really says a lot about the not only about the type of basketball here, but the type of person that's here, and that was something that was really attractive to me for sure.
What was the timetable from the first time Coach Davis talked to you to committee?
So I was really focused on the NBA draft process. So really, I didn't start talking to anybody until the June 1st deadline, because I thought, the best way for me to try to make that was to kind of fully focus on that. So I had kind of asked everybody respectfully to kind of just leave me be up until that point. And then, once I decided that I had the great option of coming back to school, then I kind of opened it up, and things moved pretty quickly from there for sure.
In terms of your NBA feedback, how much does the system that the UNC runs kind of play a role in that, in terms of matching up with what NBA scouts suggested you needed to work on?
Yeah, I think obviously getting up and down and playing fast. North Carolina shoots a lot of threes, which is obviously very very much the NBA style, and I think having a super versatile team as far as just anybody can bring it up, anybody can guard anybody. I think that's kind of what the NBA is going into as well, and I think those are just a few of the things that was really exciting to me about the opportunity to play at North Carolina.
And did you watch the NCAA tournament, and if so, kind of what were your impressions of Carolina's run?
Yeah, for sure. It was awesome. It was really hard not to be a fan. I mean, I think anybody would have agreed that it was an awesome run. But I think it's definitely something that I think can be done again. And I'm just happy to be here and happy to be able to try and help with that and get back there, because I know everybody, now that they have a taste of that, I'm sure that's the main priority again. So I'm just excited to be able to experience that and hopefully help make the difference.
Was Duke in consideration for you, and what kind of part did Chris Collins have in your leaving and decisions about going picking a school?
Duke was not. Duke wasn't in consideration, but Coach Collins was awesome. He was happy for me and wanted me to, do what was best for me. And he was great for me in my 4 years in Northwestern. So I appreciate him. I appreciate everything he's done for me and how great he was throughout the process and just supporting me in my next steps.
Was he happy with your choice?
I think he was, I didn't really talk to him about it. Just appreciated his support and everything throughout the process.
One last question. I don't know how many schools were in the mix and all that, but the ones that you talked to, can you talk about how NIL came up and the difference, how each school handled that with you?
Yeah, the main thing about this process when I decided to come back to school, I think, NIL really wasn't that important of a thing to me. I think the best basketball fit was what's most important for me. I think there's a lot of schools out there that are just throwing money around trying to get people, but I think it's important for players coming out of high school and transfers to focus on what's the best basketball fit and where they want you the most, instead of just going wherever the money is. I think that's that's a big mistake that's gonna happen over these next couple of years as we kind of figure out the ins and outs of this whole NIL thing. But for me, I was really just focused on the basketball fit, and all of that was really secondary.
So you made that clear to everybody? I mean, there wasn't anything thrown at you that in terms of NIL that turned you off about that particular school, and because what you wanted was here more than there?
Yeah, no, I was really with any school. I was talking about, what do you guys have for me as far as basketball goes, and that was really it. We didn't really discuss NIL.
If anything.